Recently, a couple of days back, former President of the United States, Barack Obama, expressed criticism towards India and its democratic functioning. He said, and I quote, "India may start pulling apart if minority rights were not protected." In this statement, the reference to minority is directed towards the Indian Muslim community. The person who was taking the interview is CNN journalist Christiane Amanpour. Now, before talking about CNN's current situation, I would like to provide a brief explanation of democracy. And by the way, for those of you who believe democracy means everyone has a voice in shaping public policies, that's an illusion. Democracy also means the rule of the majority. Now coming to the word democracy, so there are different versions of democracy. Apparently, the Western democracy is a flawed model. Democracy works fine when it is linked with a strong background culture. Unfortunately, the Western countries have identity crisis and they lack strong culture. India is the largest democracy. Democracy has always been part of ancient Bharatiya culture. But the Indian version of democracy is totally different when compared to the Western democracy. I want you to understand this. Please don't mix them blindly. Today, the Indian democracy is surviving because of its thousands and thousands years of Sanatani culture. Now, I may say something controversial, but I must say this. India and its democracy has and will survive as long as the Sanatani, in other words the Hindus, remain in majority. Only then peace will prevail. Otherwise, the day demography changes, India will no longer exist. And that's the ugly truth. When was United States formed? 1776. It was the Europeans who found America. And slavery was abolished in 1865. That means democracy, human rights, culture, values, ethos. These all are new concepts that has emerged in the last 200 years for the Western countries. Plus, it was the European scholars and educated people who came up with the flat earth theory some 600 years ago. And they also believed that the earth was the center of the universe, the geocentric theory. And after that, they again came up with the heliocentric theory. But then if you look at the ancient Indian scriptures, they already knew that the earth was round. That is why we call earth Bhugol in Hindi. Bhu means earth, Gol means round. When was Oxford University found? 1096 AD. And when was Cambridge University found? 1209 AD. Just remember this point. When Europe was building universities, ancient Indian universities were being destroyed and burned by Muslim invaders. So anyhow, democracy has different versions, and do not blindly mix the Indian version of democracy with the Western democracy. Although it is a fact that today Western beliefs and ideas are spreading rapidly in Indian society, and that is also a matter of concern, but that's a topic of another video. So anyhow, the Western democracy today has become a flawed model. Almost every conflict and problem in this world is created by the Western countries in the name of democracy, human rights, peace, that is another overused word. Look at Barack Obama, the ex-president, such a smart guy. Under his presidency, United States conducted maximum number of airstrikes, killing thousands and displacing millions of people. And yet, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. That is how the Western democracy works. And I've also said this in one of my previous videos. After 1991, communism left Russia and it has moved deep into the Western society under a brand new name. When I say Western society, it is the United States, Canada, European countries, Australia and New Zealand. Communism, social democracy, socialism, all are brainchild of Marxism. And today you will find all modern versions of similar ideology. You just have to add word neo in front of all these words. You look at any political party in the Western countries, whether it is the Labour Party, Democrats, Socialists, Liberals, all follow the neo-Marxist theory. The only difference between Marxism and neo-Marxism is that the modern version, that is the neo-Marxist theory, has very smartly incorporated capitalism because they understand the value of money. Then academic fraternity, that is why universities has become a breeding ground of social justice warriors, in other words, woke culture. Now let me explain to you why Barack Obama made such a statement. There are two reasons behind it. First, it seems that he has been quite bored since his retirement in 2017. After leaving office, he may feel that he is not receiving much attention or relevance. By making such provocative statements, especially in the age of the internet and news media, he aims to remain significant and generate discussions. This is the first reason. The second reason behind this is that there is an alliance of individuals with a specific mindset working behind him. There is an organization that shares a particular ideology and envisions shaping the world according to their ideology to facilitate their governance. This is the second reason. The first reason I mentioned is also quite true to a significant extent. If you look at the current times, you will see what Barack Obama is doing. He is enjoying his retirement with his family, making the most of the government's generous pension and facilities provided after leaving office. But if you look at his appearance, he is aging quickly. The glimpses of enjoyment on his face is not evident. Additionally, he also participates in campaign activities for candidates from his political party, the Democratic Party, who are campaigning in different places for the upcoming elections. The Democratic Party promotes Obama's reputation and showcases his achievements to garner support. Now, if we examine the second reason, as I said, there is an alliance of individuals with a specific mindset working behind him. There is an organization that shares a particular ideology and looks at shaping the world according to that ideology to facilitate their governance. I would like to elaborate a bit on this subject. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Barack Obama is a political leader with a socialist mindset and Marxist background. Obama was born in Hawaii. He did his graduation from Columbia in 1983 and then went to Harvard Law School in 1988. When he was growing up in Hawaii, that is where Obama had a mentor whom he looked up to. His name was Frank Marshall Davis, the famous communist. And then during his graduation days at Columbia, he had another mentor, Professor Edward Said, who was a Marxist writer and a prominent member of the Lebanese Communist Party. And then at Harvard Law School, Barack Obama had another mentor, Roberto Mangabeira Unger, who is a Brazilian socialist. In fact, this guy Roberto Unger left Harvard in the 90s to join the socialist government of Brazil. He was too radical for them. Even they threw him out. Again, he went back to Harvard, and I believe he's still teaching there. And then in 1995, Barack Obama met Bill Ayers in Chicago. Do you know who is Bill Ayers? He was once known for setting up bombs during his time with the revolutionary communist group, the Weather Underground, in protest against the US government. This group is described by the FBI as a terrorist group, and later on he became a professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago. Bill Ayers is a radical leftist. Barack Obama was his close associate. And then there is one more person called Jeremiah Wright, who was Barack Obama's pastor at the Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago, who used to preach socialism and Marxism. So what I'm trying to say is that all these people were friends and mentors of Barack Obama. These individuals developed and shaped his thinking. So that is the reason I say that Barack Obama from inside is a Marxist and communist. On the face value, he is a socialist politician. And if we observe, nowadays any political party or political thinker refrains from using the term Marxist and communist, because in today's era, Marxist theory or Karl Marxist theory has been completely rejected as useless and ineffective. However, by giving it a new touch-up and concealing it under the name of socialism, it is still being utilized. And if you look at Barack Obama's full name, it is Barack Hussein Obama. Now based on the name, it is evident that Barack Obama is a Muslim. However, even today within America, a significant number of citizens are still confused about whether he is a Christian or a Muslim. And somewhere I've read that his real name is Barakat Hussein Obama. In Arabic, T is silent, so he was called Baraka, and then later on his mother converted that name to Barak, which sounds more Christian. You can watch any of his interviews or speeches on the internet, and you will find that Barack Obama has never publicly admitted whether he is a Christian or Muslim. He has never provided any clarity regarding his religion. This clearly indicates that he is a communist. Communist people do not adhere to any religion, and do you know why? It's because religious faith and beliefs influence a person's actions, and it gives people hope that they could find meaning in life outside of communism, something that the communist cannot tolerate, as they always seek complete control. And by the way, did you consider the fact that Barack Obama was giving an interview to CNN? It was a long interview where they discussed various topics, but why did Obama make the statement that Muslims in India are in danger? And that too at a time when Prime Minister Modi was being warmly welcomed in the United States, both at the Congress and at the White House. I'll tell you the reason. Because Prime Minister Modi's trip to the United States was a success. So many people from businessmen to scientists, actors, philanthropists came to visit Prime Minister Modi for dinner. Everybody complimented Prime Minister Modi. Even Joe Biden and his wife were in full swing. Even they enjoyed hosting Prime Minister Modi. They even received gifts from Prime Minister Modi. And these gifts had a strong essence of rich Indian culture and traditions. Now I'm going to connect the dots. If you observe all these factors, it becomes evident that the anti-India forces, the foreign powers sitting in America, who constantly attempt to disrupt India, are the ones who told Barack Obama to make a remark on India. Because Joe Biden was enjoying his time with Prime Minister Modi, and he couldn't say anything like that because he himself invited Prime Minister Modi. However, during Barack Obama's presidency, Joe Biden was the vice president. So we cannot say that Joe Biden is not part of this game. He is aware of everything, but at that time, he was hosting the Prime Minister of India. He was taking care of him. The communist forces who want to disrupt India saw that Joe Biden was having a good time. They thought, why not use Barack Hussein Obama to deliver a lecture to India? That is why they made Barack Hussein Obama say those statements. Now, do you understand the complete picture? I'll give you more proof. Have you heard of Obama Foundation? Who is funding Obama Foundation? The Open Society Foundations. Who is the founder of the Open Society Foundation? George Soros. Now, earlier this year, it was revealed that George Soros was funding an anti-India narrative. Here is a small timeline that I've gathered about George Soros' conspiracy against different countries and their governments. Pause the video and read it. The current president of the United States, even Joe Biden, is aware of all of this. If you go and check, George Soros' son, Alex Soros, visited White House at least 17 times since Biden took office. It is on record. You can cross-check. That means he has maintained access to the highest levels of the White House and has frequently taken advantage of those channels. Just imagine, this guy has been granted access to the White House so many times that even top military generals wouldn't be called in as frequently. And let me also inform you that George Soros' son, Alex Soros, has close private contacts with many top democratic lawmakers, which he has mentioned several times in his social media posts. That is why you will see that the Western governments, especially the US government, are actively promoting woke culture. In fact, it is also part of their foreign policy. Wokeism is part of their foreign policy, and they are also actively exporting it. Now, when Prime Minister Modi visited White House, and his visit was a grand success, even Joe Biden and his wife enjoyed it. People like George Soros and other communists didn't like all of this. That is why they said Barack Hussein Obama to give that statement to CNN. Even CNN's ratings have gone down. Its primetime viewership, which is from 8 to 11 p.m., has fallen way below Newsmax. Because they no longer report the news, they give you biased opinions. Opinions that are invariably leftist or anti-white or anti-conservative. They try to gaslight you by presenting you with narratives that defy the reality you witness with your own senses. They don't do proper research before they talk about some issue. So, in order to desperately stay relevant, CNN took Barack Hussein Obama's interview. So if you see here, the interviewer, Obama, is a leftist. The media company conducting the interview is leftist. And even George Soros, who funds these individuals, is also leftist. George Soros is part of the anti-India narrative, and he wants regime change in India. Barack Obama, the former US president, is part of that toolkit. And then many domestic political parties within India are competing and proving themselves every day in front of these foreign powers that they are the right candidates. When funded by them, they will do whatever they are told to in India once they come into power. After the United States trip, Prime Minister Modi immediately went to Egypt. Even there he had a grand welcome. Egypt is a Muslim majority country. In fact, Prime Minister Modi on Sunday received the Order of the Nile Award, which is Egypt's highest state honor. When a Muslim majority country has no problem with Prime Minister Modi, why does Barack Hussein Obama have a problem? Maybe Barack Hussein Obama didn't know that Prime Minister Modi would visit a Muslim majority country right after departing from the United States.
जब से आप आए हैं, honestly, हमारा जो value है बाहर में बहुत बढ़ गया है. सारे जहाँ से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान.
However, regardless of the situation, it reveals the hypocrisy of Barack Hussein Obama, and at the same time, it reveals the true intentions of other individuals and organizations working against India. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching it.